Well, I'm about to start the Narrows hike, and I'm really looking forward to being back in the Narrows. It's been quite a few years since I've been there, and the only problem is it's not going to be completely clear sky today. I hope I'll get enough breaks in the clouds to get some glow at some places that I'm interested in. But either way, this is a really premier hike. It's just one of the nicest hikes really in the country to do, and I'm really lucky to be able to do it today. So I'm going to get started and see what the day brings. On this hike up the Narrows, I regret that I didn't film very much along the way. I was kind of hard charging upriver to make it to the Wall Street section, where I was hoping to arrive in time to prepare for the glow, so I didn't stop too often. And because I had all the camera and video gear in dry bags to protect them in case I fell in the water, it's kind of a hassle to take it all out to film. Still, I wish I had more footage to show you of this amazing canyon river hike. But anyway, join me now at my destination, which everyone calls Wall Street due to the very narrow and tall canyon walls. Well, I made it to Wall Street, and it's probably pretty loud with the rushing water. We definitely have overcast, so there's not much glow, but it's still really nice to be here. It's a beautiful place, and it's been a great hike. So I think this is my turning around point, and I certainly shot a couple compositions here, because how often do you get here? But anyway, it's been a great morning, and I look forward to getting back and maybe exploring more of the canyon later this afternoon. So this wall was one of the first spots that I came to that was supposed to have some glow, and it certainly did. I really think the ice sort of spoils the look of that, and actually this is what I found in many places in the Narrows in the winter. I think the ice and snow just sort of hanging and clinging to the walls really doesn't help your compositions very much, and I wasn't real happy with that, but not a lot you can do about it. This next picture is one that I really like because of this branch. It's sort of hanging over horizontally off to the left, and it turns out it doesn't really show up that well in this rendering, but when I was standing there it was pretty prominent and kind of an interesting feature. And yes, I was struck with how sort of turquoise blue the water was, and other than that, no real glow, but sort of an interesting composition. So then I made it to Wall Street, and by that time it definitely wasn't glowing very much, if at all, but it's a pretty spectacular place to be, and was fun to try, working with the different patterns and ripples in the water and trying to just locate the tripod in a spot that sort of worked with the leading lines to bring you into the picture. And so I like this one okay. But because there wasn't a lot of glow, I really wanted to try black and white, and took a slightly different spot to place the camera, and I actually think the black and white is probably more successful. I think that's probably a decent rule of thumb in a situation where if the color isn't working, if you still have graphic elements and other compositional elements that'll work for you, then black and white isn't a bad way to go. Rather than try to force some color. So I think I probably like this one the best of all of them from the Wall Street area. Then on my way back, I wanted to try this slotted boulder. Like most of the others, it's been photographed a lot, but it's fun to have a crack at it. But here's another case where that ice and snow clinging to the cliff I think really distracts, and you can only darken it so much because it's not really it won't really read correctly if you darken it too much. So overall, I guess I'd have to say my recommendation would probably be not to go into the Narrows at that time of year if you've had snow or ice somewhat recently, because I just think, for the most part, for me anyway, it really sort of spoiled the look of many of the pictures that I either worked on or wanted to work on. As I'm looking at this image, I realized that a horizontal crop might eliminate some of those problems, so I've tried that here, and I think I like it a lot better. I wish I'd thought to do this in the field, so I'd have a full image in horizontal rather than having to crop it. But still, I like this a lot, and I think it works pretty well. Okay, so that's the Narrows done. About 5.5 hours all the way to Wall Street. Not the best light. I definitely had several setups, and we'll see how the pictures turn out. Definitely no amazing glow, but it's always great to be in the Narrows and to get a chance to hike that. So now it's time to return the gear, and the rental gear, the dry suit, and then relax a little bit, reorganize the photography gear, and head back out there and see what the rest of the day has to offer. Tomorrow supposed to be snow, and several inches of snow, and man, if we could get snow in Zion, that would just be too much. So got my fingers crossed for that, and let's see what happens the rest of the day. So later in the afternoon, I was able to drive around some more and find some more subjects. Here's one from the upper plateau, and it is getting some nice reflected light. There's sun just outside the frame above this sandstone cliff. In fact, I was worried about trying to get the picture captured before the sun would encroach down in there. And so it has not as much look of reflected light as I would have hoped. You can see a little bit on the sort of ice right in the bottom of the wash, but overall it's a pleasing arrangement, and it's an okay image. Then I was able to work on another backlit cottonwood. I got lucky with this one, just was able to capture it quickly before the light went off. In fact, it just started to go off a little bit at the bottom of the frame. You can kind of see that tree, the small tree on the left of the large trunk. The sun has gone off the bottom, and it's quickly, that shadow is quickly moving up the picture. One thing I struggled quite a bit with in this composition is what to do with these sort of black vertical cracks. They're just in the picture there with no real good place to put them, although I'm fairly happy with where it ended up. The one in the center, just trying to, I don't know, not really hide it, but have it be not growing out of the top of one of the branches. And then the one on the left sort of works in that side, sort of mimicking the shape of the left branch a little bit. So overall, I wish they weren't there, but it adds some character, and I think this one works okay. Then finally, I was able to do another sunlit cottonwood. This one isn't backlit, it's actually frontlit, but I did get a shadowed cliff nonetheless behind it. And I like the arrangement here okay. Kind of leads into the picture. Unlike the last one, this one is showing the ground. It sort of shows where it's situated, and you get a little more feeling of that sort of sense of place. So I like that one pretty well. So here's a bonus image. Has nothing whatsoever to do with landscape, but it is a found abstract that I like really well. I won't say where this one is other than to say it's in downtown Springdale. So if you're there someday, you might hunt around and you might find this thing. I think I said in the previous video that things that sort of look disused or sort of older kind of fit within the sort of the West Coast school of landscape photography. A lot of people do abstracts like this, whether it's something from an old broken down car or building or whatever. And so I don't ever pass these up if they catch my eye, and I like the arrangement of this and the tones. It was kind of fun. So that's it for the images for this day, and please stay tuned, because tomorrow we got snow, and you'll get to see snow in Zion. Thanks for watching this episode of my winter trip to Death Valley and Zion National Park. I had a great time, and I sure hope you're enjoying seeing some of the locations I visited and the photographs that I made along the way. I have another episode to share with you next week, so I hope you'll tune in for that. And please subscribe and share and like, and I hope to see you next week as we explore some more of these two exciting Western national parks. See you then.